Welcome everyone to the L7C podcast, Dragon Ball edition. The day is finally here. We have waited months to talk to you guys about this movie, but it is finally out in the United States of America. Dragon Ball Super Super Hero just came out August 19th, and we can finally talk about those spoilers that came out months ago. We can talk about the movie, what we liked, we didn't like, and what's next for Dragon Ball going forward. So we have the Dragon Ball expert with us, Mitchell Oso. How are you doing today?
I was always doing fantastic. Doing fantastic. I would ask you how you're doing, but I can tell everyone he's doing fantastic as well. It's the benefit of actually being in person. So,
Yep. So if you're listening to this one, we do hope you listen to our Granola Arc is Over podcast, which will probably be out before you listen to this. So this is kind of part two of the whole Dragon Ball weekend podcast experience here with the L7C. So, like I said, Dragon Ball Super Super Hero came out August 19th worldwide, most of the world. This movie came out June 11th back in Japan. So they've had it for months. And we had spoilers, things of that nature, but we decided to wait till we saw it on the big screen. This is the fourth Dragon Ball Super movie, which is already crazy that they're already on the fourth one. And this one centers around Gohan, Piccolo, Pan, and before we start talking about it, here let's just get one of these things out the way. Mitch, how do you feel about it being a month delay from Japan to America?
do you take into account, the hacking of Toy
Mm-hmm.
and whatnot? Because this movie was originally supposed to come out like April 22nd and whatnot. So, um, I, but personally, I don't understand why any studio does not try to get films released everywhere at the exact same time. I don't know if that's like a logistics issue. I doubt that since everything's digital. I don't. That has to be something with the country of, where you're trying to broadcast this. Because for example, other countries can censor. Like take China for example. China will review every single movie that comes in, and then they will determine if that movie can even be shown to the general audience, whether that be after alterations or just flat out just not showing it. So I guess it's just it's 2 months. It's tough because people will get the entire movie online to pirate, or people will give spoilers and just ruin it for everyone else, and the rest of the world really should have known what was happening. Even if you hop onto the internet for one day out of 2 months, you should know. But yeah, I'm just not for it. Personally, though, it's better if you can get all these on a single day, because if you're collecting all the money, then you can report that you're making a ton of money, and that just looks way better. So, like, if you're going to make $100 million on opening weekend because you showed it in 10 countries, that's better than getting that same $100 million from those 10 countries, but it's a span over two months, and you have to take into account all of their opening days. So yeah, just not about it. Wish it would all be at the same time, but
Yeah,
the world is what it is.
Dragon Ball fans are notorious for spoilers, and
Had one on Twitter last week.
yeah,
We posted on Twitter that we were going to go see this movie and whatnot, and I wonder if that guy's listening. But yeah, he tried to tell me. Okay, spoiler. Is this a spoiler review?
that we already knew the plot.
No, I meant this is not just a review. This is going to be a spoiler.
Yeah,
so
we're not gonna say you go see the movie.
Yeah, here you go. Here's your disclosure for everyone who has not seen the movie, but for some odd reason wants to listen to my voice. Spoiler review. Okay. Anyways, so the guy on Twitter says, Gohan gets a new transformation, so does Piccolo, blah blah blah. And this was after, the L7C tweeted that we were going to go see the movie. Newsflash, people. I read plots before I go see these movies. I just don't spoil it for you. I know exactly what is going to happen as I'm watching it, and I love it. I love it. Shout out to, the L7C's number one fan Patrick, and you guys can fight for that title, but we'll talk about Patrick for 2 seconds. He hates it. He hates that I love knowing what I'm about to see, but it's just how it is, man. It's so good. It's so good. But yeah,
I don't even think, obviously, it was a spoiler, but I don't think it was that big of a spoiler because if you've been paying attention to the Super movies, obviously they want to sell toys. Battle of Gods, you had a new form. Resurrection F, you had a new form. Dragon Ball Super Broly, you had Broly becoming canon. You had Gogeta Super Saiyan Blue for the first time. That sells toys. So in the fourth movie, so you already knew, like, if someone was getting new forms,
yep.
like just and it had to be the main characters, which were Gohan and Piccolo. And Mitch, you actually did some math because another question that this movie's brought up: when does this take place? And you were actually doing some digging before we got on.
So when does this come into the timeline?
Yeah,
is what this is. So if the end of Z happened 10 years afterwards, right? That puts it at the year of 784, right? Yeah, so we got 784, and Pan is in the World Martial Arts Tournament. That's the 28th World Martial Arts Tournament. And Pan can fly, Pan can fight, blah, 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 and all the other hoopla jazz. And the Granola arc that we just wrapped up yesterday takes place in 781, so 3 years prior. So this movie has to take place between those two events. And probably this takes place closer to 783 because Frieza wasn't even mentioned in this movie, and
once, but not in regards.
Not
in regards to strength, but twice in regards to
being an alien and Trunks, and then the flashback with Trunks.
I guess 3 in this movie and
in Superhero.
I guess 3 times. Well, Goku brought him up because to keep Broly away from Frieza.
Oh, yeah.
And then Bulma brings him up because they're like, ever since
the Dragon
movie, that we need to actually keep the Dragon Balls in-house.
So in terms of storytelling, with what Frieza had done in the past, they mentioned what he did in the Broly movie.
Mm-hmm.
They mentioned what Trunks did with them, and in the Wish to make himself taller.
Yep.
Because that motivated then Bulma to keep using the Dragon Balls to make herself cosmetically better looking.
Yeah, but that keeping up with the times. I mean, that's what Instagram models, all those people, and they do it to keep up. And as she's told her husband and stuff, she's
richer than Kylie Jenner. She should be fine.
Yeah, but
nope.
But her. Like she said, she's married to someone who won't show aging till he's like 80.
Yeah, it's tough.
Oh.
But
go ahead with the timeline.
Yeah, timeline. So because in terms of because they mentioned strong people all throughout this thing, they never mentioned Frieza. So Frieza just got a new form yesterday. And he wasn't even mentioned in this movie. This is the problem that we have, is that this movie is canon, but is this going to be a thing where whenever it comes out, assumingly if it comes out in anime, they correct a lot of shit? Because did this movie come out before the idea of Black Frieza?
I think so. I mean, this movie was in production before the idea. This movie was technically in production after Broly. And like you said, this movie was supposed to come out a long time ago.
What year did Broly come out?
It was definitely before the L7C was the thing, because we did not review that movie. And it was before COVID. So it was like 2018. If I do, because production for Superhero began before the release of Dragon Ball Super Broly. It was the first film to do CGI. So
Broly came out in 2018.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm on that wiki page right now. If you're still on the superhero one, so
they already had the idea of this movie after Broly. They already knew where they were going.
So
and that was before Moro was done.
Yeah.
No, Moro wasn't even he was just getting started.
If where did they? Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, you should be thinking these things out. Like, if you're going to make these windows, you need to kind of at least lay down like an overall, like do what the MCU does. They have a 10-year plan all the time. Now, are there little continuity issues? Yeah, sure. We can't make everything 100%, you know, in line. But MCU does a pretty good at keeping a straight line with their storytelling, right?
My thing now with the Black Frieza thing, and I obviously when I saw it in the movie theater, when they were like, "Oh, we got to keep him away from Frieza because of what the events of Broly, because Frieza wants to get Broly, make him his number one soldier." Now I just thought of it from after the incident that happened with Granola. I was like, dude, we got to keep him away from Frieza because Frieza's already stronger than us. If Frieza gets Broly,
Yep.
then we're in super trouble. So that's when I just started thinking about it. Maybe as soon as I'm giving
So
them way too
Frieza's
much.
still alive.
Yeah, I'm
That's
giving
the
them
thing to
way
think
too
of.
much credit. So after Whis gets them, and if you haven't read the manga, make sure you read it. After Whis gets Goku and Vegeta, they're like, hey, we need to go get Broly and bring him back.
Mm-hmm. Keep him
So,
away from Frieza.
yeah. And then that's when Whis drops the line, well, maybe the strongest hasn't been shown yet. And I'm not saying he's the strongest, but for like promotion movie wise, of course, this chapter comes right before Gohan gets a new transformation. So
Yep.
I'm giving him way too much credit, but that's how I'm connecting it.
Who knows? Maybe Cell Max is like the stronger individual.
He could have been.
Like who
If
knows?
he was, if he,
Yeah, he just got just teamed
if,
up on.
yeah, and if he got fully, he was able to fully complete himself to be like that perfect cell body and all of that.
Just remember, Jiren was mentioned as the pinnacle of strength in this movie when Vegeta was training. Like,
Yeah.
just for all them Jiren haters out there, they won't get this name out of their mouth. He just keeps getting brought up. But it did, and again, we're going to get into actually what Super was about with Gohan and Piccolo. We're just I think we should just get all the Goku and Vegeta stuff out because
technically they started the movie
a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. So, well, beforehand, this movie copied Broly, how it had like a little prequel,
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, if you're old enough, you remember the Red Ribbon Army." I think that was like, "Hey, if you watch this from the beginning, you just didn't hop in it super. This thing used to exist."
So, how strong is Broly? We ask this question all the time, but this movie just added more questions to it because,
if gosh damn, if our episode was out, I would need to see where I ranked him on that episode.
You mean with?
And like when we were talking about Frieza, where I put Broly, because I think I had Broly.
Oh, Broly is in front before
he was
before Black.
I had him at. Well, I think I had him at. Well, before Granola and Gasar, I think I had him at 2.
Something like that.
Jiren.
And it's like, it's funny because Goku and Vegeta in the year 783, like we are past Moro, we are past Gas, we are assumingly they've had to have had a battle with Black Frieza. Like during it just there's just no way that they are not fighting
not
logically.
Not if he's gone again.
Well, he's no problem if he's not doing anything to harm civilization, but I don't know why Frieza would go back to training even though he's already significantly stronger. But they were going to have like a 3-way fight, and Goku and especially Vegeta didn't want to have that fight with Broly.
Yeah, he's like, I can't do it if he was in it. But Goku, when you talked about strength, I forgot. He said Jiren and Broly and the Gods of Destruction.
Yeah.
So Broly is still, without fusion, Broly is still stronger than Goku.
Yes. So, and yeah, they, as you said, Jiren was mentioned as stronger. Then Broly was next, and then
Gods of Destruction. We've jumped now. We don't care about anyone else.
Nope. Frieza was not mentioned.
Yeah. I feel like that is going to get corrected in the anime and the manga.
Yeah, it has to be. Do you think they'll have a manga? Because they had a manga, a very brief manga when Super got started again for Battle of Gods, I mean, those were 13-page chapters compared to the 48 that we got now.
Broly didn't get a movie. He didn't get a manga. It was like
Broly
a one
didn't,
shot.
and Frieza didn't get a manga.
Yeah, so they were like one shot things.
Yeah, so
we'll get a one shot thing, but the anime is gonna milk that.
Do you think the anime is going to do a Broly and superhero anime?
Yeah,
I would assume so.
They did it
because then they can correct everything.
Yeah, the problem is I don't think the fights will be as good. But going back to this movie, so we can just keep jumping around. Long story short, guys, the Red Ribbon Army there's a lot of legacy in this movie. The Red Ribbon Army, if you've watched Dragon Ball, obviously if you watch the Android Saga, which is hailed as the best saga in Dragon Ball Z, the Red Ribbon Army is back. And we have let's see. What is this guy's name?
Magenta?
Magenta, who is he's from the grandson of the first.
He is the I can't remember if it was the son or the grandson of General Red.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then he goes and basically recruits the grandson. No, the grandson of Dr. Gero.
Definitely, yeah. Dr. Hito?
Yeah,
Hito. He 100% no. He's the grandson of Dr. Gero. Can't remember if Magenta was grandson or son. He seemed older. He almost seemed like he was a son.
Which people have made the memes about. It's crazy how she started in a video game in Dragon Ball FighterZ, and now she's canon. Yep. How Android 21, before she was an android, was Dr. Gero's wife.
Yep.
Which is, she started, now she's canon. She was in Dragon Ball Kakarot. It's crazy. You could start from a video game and you get worked your way in, and now you're part of the legacy.
Yeah.
And then obviously, Android 16 was the Android version from Dr. Gero's kid when he was getting out of So then you have him, and this movie is very with the times influenced because Dr. Hito is talking about superheroes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he's really into that. Obviously, superheroes are the biggest cash cow on the planet right now.
Unless you're Top Gun.
Unless you're Top Gun. Domestically, not worldwide. But long story short, Dr. Hito gets tricked into thinking that Bulma's corporation, basically the Z Fighters, which if I thought about, I'm like, technically, they are an organization, that the Z Fighters are the bad guys.
Yeah, they're an evil front, is what it is, for global domination and enslaving humanity for alien, subordinates. Yeah, it's really how Magenta twisted it.
But if you twist it like that, if you think about it, everyone on that team besides Bulma and Gohan was sent or created for this planet for domination.
That is true. It's also easy to twist that because in the public eye, the Z Fighters have done nothing, to save the world until, Hercule. Well, no, because Cell, obviously, Hercule took all the credit for that, and then after Boo, they made everyone forget about Boo with the wish.
Boo. The Fat Boo. So they remember, Kid Boo, it was Hercule who beat him too.
Yeah, so Hercule was the only saving grace of all this. Now, unless they go and think back all the way to the days of Goku beating King Piccolo.
Yeah, but that even gets erased too.
Yep.
The only time that it's fully acknowledged is when is the end of GT, because Goku has a statue.
Yeah.
Even the fans who were sitting next to Pan, they're like, "Wait, you're Goku's granddaughter?"
Yeah.
That's the only time, at the very end, that it's acknowledged. But you're
right. So they can twist that because they just don't take credit for they don't take credit for their wins. So and
it's kind of true. Goku was sent to Earth.
Mm-hmm. So was Vegeta.
The androids.
Majin Buu was there to destroy it.
The androids were created to basically bring back kill Goku and take over. It's true.
Yep. It's a weird twist to it. And
they are aliens.
They are.
The two main, they said, the big bosses of the group are aliens. And the secret boss, which I like how they call Gohan the secret boss because of what we've all said for 20 years. His potential could make him the strongest of all time, but they're like, we need to take him out. So Dr. Hito creates his own androids.
Yep.
So while he's creating that, we get to the real main character of this movie, Piccolo.
Yes.
Piccolo and Pan.
This is the Piccolo show.
It really is. He's training with Pan.
It was refreshing.
Yeah, it was because I actually have some stuff I want to talk about with Piccolo once we try and put where he's at now.
So
That Piccolo hasn't had this type of training, like full. I mean, he had trained Gohan for like an episode in Super, but
I almost want to say he hasn't had the spotlight. He hasn't had the spotlight since he absorbed Kami,
yep,
and I mean he had a little bit of spotlight in the Buu saga, training Gotenks
yep,
and whatnot. But
that
like,
was the last time, really.
yeah. So I mean, this was very refreshing.
Yeah, so
But as you were saying, that this was his show, and then you were mentioning Pan.
yeah, because Pan was the second star of this movie because she was trying to learn. She's training with Piccolo, trying to learn how to fly, which I gave him a pass because she can learn how to fly. We saw her fly as a baby in Super, but I guess that was when
She just wasn't
started.
conscious of it, I
Yeah.
guess.
So that's the whole thing. And Pan, I mean, Pan's asking Piccolo's like, "Hey, you really like there was a time where my dad could have been stronger than Grandpa." And then it's always funny Piccolo saying Grandpa, and I was thinking about her. He's like, "Oh, you mean Goku?" Like, yeah, I mean,
Everyone always giving the shaft of how Goku is not a good parent, but
they're like, "Oh yeah,
or
Grandpa,
grandparent.
yeah." So, and we're not going to go over every detail, but just important stuff. Then we're just going to get to the fights and stuff. But Piccolo goes to Gohan and literally says, like, he's there studying for ants because he won't pick up his kid from school. That was bad. That was very bad.
Yeah,
Because
yeah, he's
Videl had
not being even a good parent, let alone a good savior of the planet. He's like,
yeah.
not.
So he's like, so what are you going to do if a villain comes? And he's like, who's going to come to Earth? We have my dad and Vegeta. Like, who's
Yep.
really going to come mess with us? Which I have a problem with that because if this comes out, like we said, the timeline wise, that means Moro was done.
Mm-hmm.
You literally had an alien invasion just come to your planet.
Seriously.
And your dad, you had no way to contact your dad. You had no way to contact Vegeta because Goku was with Miras. Vegeta was on Yardrak. You had no way to contact either of them. And y'all were fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And he obviously looked a lot better in the Moro arc than most of this movie. So it's just like, you just had that.
I'm still gonna mention Frieza because Frieza has to be alive, and like,
Yeah.
like Gohan can't
And
remember.
Frieza invaded Earth when Goku and Vegeta weren't there.
Yep, and then Gohan tried to fight, and then he got his shit blasted.
Well,
Like,
this is my thing with the Piccolo scaling thing. Piccolo got his ass whooped by that fake Ginyu dude,
mm-hmm.
but then Gohan beat him, and then Frieza came, not even transformed, punched Gohan,
Yeah,
and knocked him out of Super Saiyan. Because at that point, Gohan was like, "I don't even know if I can go Super Saiyan anymore." I was like, "Come on, man."
yep. So it's like, yeah. So Piccolo, rips into him, and then Gohan, as you said, oh, someone else can do it. Paraphrasing, and then Piccolo, does his clothes beam and puts on the old, the purple gi, and with the weighted shoulder pads, and Gohan cannot hold himself up
Mhm.
holding this weighted clothing. Embarrassing. Embarrassing. Good for the story, but embarrassing. Like he really needs to get his ass in shape.
But it makes no sense because, like you said that, but Gohan literally can get in shape in 2 minutes. That's like when he
You mean 4 hours?
4 hours.
Because this movie takes place within the same single day. They didn't go to sleep. When they woke up and ate breakfast, Piccolo fought Gamma 2. And then by the time they went to sleep, Cell Max is dead.
Yeah.
Well, the same day.
4 hours makes sense because in the Tournament of Power, he was able to get back Super Saiyan 2, Ultimate Gohan. And at that point, when he was fighting Piccolo, he was at least at the part where he was as strong as he fought Super Buu. But then the next episode, when he fights his dad, he's able to fight his dad as a Super Saiyan 2 pretty evenly. And like that Super Saiyan 2 Goku is a lot stronger than Super Saiyan 3 Goku from like the Buu saga. So you see him like, oh, Gohan just needs to train a day, and he's already one of the top 4 strongest people in Universe 7 at the time of Tournament of Power. So it's like, usually he puts on the weighted stuff, and then he's already. Man, you want to talk about Bulma getting cosmetic things? Like, there's a lot of people. Gohan is. He can help Christian Bale out because Christian Bale does the extreme dieting, like Gohan, but super scrawny, then 2 seconds back to going
You know, with those other
planets.
situations, at least he trained.
That's
At least
true.
he was with Piccolo, trained, got back to his mystic form, and then he fought his dad for that practice round. Like he didn't do that. He was studying Super Saiyan ants,
Mitch is not joking. That was the thing.
and then he finds out that Pan is kidnapped, and then he flies there just to fight.
He's going Super Saiyan.
He's going Super Saiyan, then he's going Ultimate, then he's going this Beast Mode, whatever it is.
Yeah, so before any of that, I mean, Piccolo gets attacked by Gamma 2. He's like, what the hell is going on? And obviously, Gamma 2 just has a red ribbon thing right on his thing. So it was just one of those things where you're like, what is happening on, like, he's just getting casually attacked. And Piccolo obviously escapes. And this is why we said it was Piccolo's movie, because he gets attacked first. He infiltrates the Red Ribbon Pharmaceutical Company, which was the the front company, goes behind the curtain, sees the Red Ribbon's back. He's seeing the presentation. He's seeing that a Cell Max is being made, and he's like, holy shit, this is a problem. So then, like, he's getting all this information, immediately calls Bulma. It's like, hey, you need to call Goku and Vegeta back. Like, this is bad. And Bulma knew. He's like, if you're calling me, it's so funny how she's literally been in it since the first episode, and she's just so used to. She's like, all right, what universe threat do we have now?
Yep.
she's
like, just laying on the couch.
Yeah,
she's
like,
like,
if you're
gosh
calling
damn it,
me,
now I gotta get up and go find that transmitter.
Like, yeah, if you're calling me, that means we are having real problems. And then she does make the call, but while Beerus and them are eating ice cream, it gets tossed over Whis' staff.
Yep, Whis doesn't see that his staff is ringing, and he that just takes them all completely out. And Piccolo knows that he's not strong enough to do it, and he doesn't think that Gohan can actually help. And Piccolo gets the great idea to,
But he also says they might know 17 and 18's weaknesses, which I'm going to bring up at the end, because 18 was at the final fight, but 17 was not.
So
and 17 should be stronger than 18, since 17 is Super Saiyan Blue level now.
Whatever. Freaking that guy ain't strong. I don't care. Anyways, but again, logically, not what they're. Anyways, so yeah, Piccolo gets the bright idea. He thinks about the time in which Gohan and Krillin on Namek got their potential unlocked by Guru, and he thinks to himself, "Oh, okay, well, I'm gonna go see if Dende can do that for me." And Dende's like, "Nah, that comes with age." Okay, well then. They decide to do it with, the Dragon Balls.
That comes with age, but Dende as a kid was a better healer than Monado now.
Yep.
But okay.
Good. They do what they want. But so Dende upgrades the dragon so that, he can unleash that kind of potential.
And Piccolo said that he didn't know that was a thing. That's bullshit, because they upgraded that dragon before. Like, Dende updated so it can have, remember, because the original dragon on Earth could only do one wish.
Correct.
And then when Dende came around, he's like, oh, I made it be able to do 2 wishes.
Okay, that's what I was going to ask, because I thought it was 2 wishes. I don't remember them doing 3.
Yeah, so he upgraded it again.
Yeah. And now he just gave it another upgrade. But yeah, Piccolo says, probably using the knowledge that he got from Kami, obviously, that he didn't know that he could upgrade the dragon.
Which is bullshit.
Yeah, that should be, it kind of makes sense, though, because I would think that, Kami, maybe he somehow lost that information whenever he was split from, the nameless Namekian.
Mm-hmm.
But, you mean to tell me that, Kami, it didn't click? He created them. He created the Dragon Balls. After, King Piccolo destroyed the dragon, just had to make them again. So, you can't think that you can upgrade it. Okay, whatever.
So they upgraded. He goes, and they're like, which I did like this, where are the Dragon Balls? One was like, yeah, I have all 7. Ever since the Frieza incident with Broly, we've had to keep them under watch. And then they go, he makes the wishes. He basically gets his ultimate Piccolo form. And you do finally have the funny, well, internet breaking stuff of Bulma just basically like, oh yeah, maybe we should get nice firm buns and
Yep.
and then
Bulma
Shenron says
wastes her
your
2
buns.
wishes on longer eyelashes by like 2 millimeters and buns.
And
College buns.
And then it was funny how Shenron said your buns have been firmed. That
Yep.
was funny. And then
So
when the Dragon Ball leaves, she's like, "Shit, I could have just wished for him to bring Goku and Vegeta here." And Frick goes, "Why did you think of that?" And she's like, "Well, you didn't either."
And he's like, okay, that
So
makes
the
sense.
whole plan too, though, is like getting Pan kidnapped. And it was funny too, like you brought this up, how the school teacher knows Piccolo by name now.
It's funny. There are some characters in which I actually had to pull up the wiki to remember their name. And sometimes I even get people mixed up. Like, sometimes, like, when we were talking during the granola arc, sometimes, I would get all 4 of their names just jumbled sometimes. Sometimes I would accidentally say gas over granola or like Vegeta, Goku, because, I mean, it was just a big old carousel with them. But, like, I am never, ever going to forget Pan's preschool homeroom teacher, Janet. Like that was her name, right? It had to have been Janet. It was going to be really awkward whenever I find out it's not Janet. But like the fact that Piccolo knows Janet is hilarious.
So this movie had like basically 2 plots for me. One was the Red Ribbon Army coming back, and 2 was Piccolo and Pan trying to get Gohan back into fighting. Those were basically the 2 plots because they went from until like the final fights. It went from like, oh, Red Ribbon Army's coming back to Piccolo and Pan's like, we're gonna pretend you're kidnapped, so your dad's gonna come after you, so he's gonna have to fight.
Yep.
And we're just gonna keep doing. And
Yeah,
even
we're just
like
going to keep pushing for this.
And even when they go show Gohan that Pan's been kidnapped, and like Piccolo looks back at us and like Gohan's back.
Yep.
It was so like that was the whole like Pan was playing like he's like, oh help me, I've been kidnapped, please help me, Papa.
It's funny. Now, Gamma 1 and Gamma 2, Dr.
We have to
Hito's
talk
like,
about how strong they are.
well, they're stronger, obviously, than...
Piccolo said they're stronger than anyone they've ever faced. And I said, get the hell out of here.
I think that's just bad screenwriting because I'm like, stronger than anyone they faced. Now, granted, they saw Moro. There's no way in hell we're going to tell the fandom that Gamma 1 or Gamma 2 is stronger than a Mirror absorbed Moro. Because that's who Piccolo can compare to. Because he didn't see the heaters and gas.
Timelines, right?
Yeah. And he's doing, and this is all part of the same universe.
I give them blue, but that doesn't mean much. But I think they're strong. I think they're as strong as.
I think they can. Yeah, I think that we saw Universe 3 like in their androids. I mean, granted they had the fuse, but they were looking like Cell Max here, friggin'.
Yeah, and Gamma 2 was
actually
being the dog shit out of Piccolo. But
yeah, Gamma 2 was smoking like
that's bad.
Like Piccolo
You're
there.
so bad, you have to go make a wish.
And then, so I mean, I wouldn't have a problem putting them in God tier. Do I want to put them? Do I want to put them in God tier?
God tier, not God of Destruction. God tier for the people.
Saiyan.
Yeah,
like Saiyan God tier.
So then you have Gohan show up. He quasi superhero lands. Basically, it's coming here to f stuff up, and then you see Gamma 1 fighting, and then the music starts playing. You're like, oh, this is actually pretty cool. Like, I don't know why Gohan was still fighting with his damn glasses for a bit, and then he takes those, and like you have Piccolo in the
Just
he's doing good, and then anytime Gohan started to lose, like, oh, we gotta pump your dad up. So then Piccolo was horrible.
Yeah, so what it was Gohan's getting beat, and then they're trying to get him motivated, and then he goes like Super Saiyan, and like how they're doing this is like, is Piccolo is pretending that he's like choking like Pan, like he grabs her by his shirt, he's lifting him up, but like he has his hand underneath her feet so that she's not just dangling there because he obviously cares for her. It's just. Pan was hilarious.
Yeah,
Pan.
I think she was the standout of the movie.
Yeah, she really added some life to the movie that was very, very much appreciative. Now, the thing with Gamma 1 and Gamma 2 though is that they're not your typical villains.
No.
Because they when Dr. Hito,
Mhm.
trying to get this name down back, um, since he wants to be a good guy with all these superheroes and whatnot, he installed in their programming that they were superheroes themselves and that they were just protecting the Earth. And that's why, they would fight Gohan and Piccolo because, the Red Ribbon Army tricked them to make them seem like that they were the enemies, as we discussed at the beginning of this podcast. So, when Piccolo is pretending to harm Pan to motivate Gohan to fight Gamma 1, Gamma 2 is yelling at Piccolo because we forgot to mention this. I think we did, but Piccolo had stolen a Red Ribbon
Yeah, he was
outfit.
under. Like we
Yeah,
said,
he
this
was undercover.
Piccolo's
Yeah,
movie.
he was
Like,
still undercover during this time.
he was
So,
doing everything.
so Gamma 2 thinks that it's a Red Ribbon soldier being evil, right? And yeah, they're not evil. They're just misguided.
Yeah, they were all tricked. And then like Gohan goes from Super Saiyan, then he goes to Ultimate Gohan, and it completely changed. He's starting to whoop Gamma One's ass.
Yeah.
Like it went from like.
So then here's the thing. 20 seconds ago, we said that we were cool with God level tiered Saiyan God Gammas. But Ultimate Gohan now is.
I mean,
has the
at least he fought his dad for like a couple seconds.
Then we're saying then that Super Boo Gohan absorbed, or like Gotenks absorbed, is stronger than Super Saiyan God.
Well,
and
I think
Power
Gohan's
Super
stronger
Saiyan.
than he was when he fought Boo.
Yeah.
I mean, just because of the tournament and power stuff. Like Gohan's one of those people who can be lazy for like 2 days and then train for like 4 hours, and he's significantly stronger than what he was. I do think he's a lot stronger than he was when he fought Super Boo. I am comfortable saying that just because he was able to, in a Frieza UFC Dana White death match, Frieza providing the cage.
Don't you find that weird to say though that you think that when Gohan showed up to fight Super Boo, and you compared that Gohan to the one that was just doing research on super ants, that the super ant Gohan is stronger?
It's weird to think about, but it's just, everyone got power jumped.
Yeah.
Because that's just like saying the same 17 who told a farmer dude to put his hands up for Goku is strong enough to be the first person we saw on screen do damage Jiren.
Yep.
So he really starts whooping Gamma 1's ass, and then they're like,
Piccolo,
Gamma 2, you gotta jump in. And that's when Piccolo's finally like, oh, I don't think so. Yep. And then Gohan's like, Piccolo, what are you doing here? Like, even though Ant knew from the jump that it was Piccolo in his.
And Piccolo's like, are you really asking right now in the middle of a fight? Focus over there, man. And then Piccolo starts fighting Gamma 2, and he's getting kicked around just a little bit, and then he gets kicked down into a big old hole, and then he goes Orange Piccolo for the first time. He grows like 4 feet tall, turns orange, and he punches Gamma 2 in the face and knocks him out.
After Gamma 2's punching him, he's not moving.
And he's not doing anything.
The gap was showed. We didn't also say what Shenron when he said that. Piccolo made that wish. He was like, well, you're late. There wasn't that much left. So it's like Piccolo was reaching, like he was training, like he was drawing out all of his potential. There wasn't that much left. He's like, I'm gonna pull it out in a little bit extra. And you brought up something about the differences between Piccolo's wish and Gas and Granola's.
Oh yeah, and that is that. So Piccolo's wish was to have his, potential unlocked. Like whatever his max is, like naturally, that's what that wish was. Whereas Gas and Granola, they essentially converted their life force into actual energy. So that's why instead of Granola living to be 150 or whatever the age limit of the average Cerulean was, he only had 3 years left. So different wishes. I didn't know how they were going to try to explain that, but because they could have just told Granola, "Hey, I unlock my potential," and then Granola's not that much stronger, or he's not anywhere on par with Goku and Vegeta. But sacrificing his life force for that is what makes those wishes different.
So yeah, so you have that. They're having the upper hand, and it basically Piccolo's hitting him with that. Dude, you really like Gamma 2's talking about your villains, your evil corporation. He's like, I think you just got some fake news, my dude.
Yeah,
Like,
you literally work for a corporation that said to kidnap an innocent child.
and you think we're the bad guys?
And you think we're the bad guys? And Piccolo was like, you ever think that, the doctor over there has been misfed, like wrong information? And eventually it gets to the point where you see that Magenta and Carmine is Magenta's
right hand dude,
his personal assistant, his chauffeur, whatever you want to call him. He's a complete, well, I mean, anyone Red Ribbon's really a douche, but like he's just a douche. They're about to leave to go activate Cell Max.
whose Cell Max is a significantly improved version of Dr. Giro's opening. Obviously, Dr. Giro's cell, because his grandson, Dr. Hito, is significantly smarter than Dr. Giro.
Yeah. So even Dr. Hito does not like the idea of Cell Max. He doesn't like the thought of biological being, especially being that strong, and he's just all about his androids because they're loyal, they're superheroes, and he thinks that they can get the job done. Well, after Magenta and Carmine see that they are not going, Gamma 1 and 2 are not going to win this fight, they're going to go and turn on Cell Max.
Yeah, and Carmine actually, this is what makes them change of heart, because Carmine's actually going to go kill Pan.
Yeah, so Pan sees them leaving and yells at them not to leave, and then she starts charging after them. And Carmine pulls out a gun, and he actually tries to eliminate Pan. And he's shooting at her, and she's dodging because she's, trained and the son of a Saiyan, half Saiyan, and trained by a Namekian, and whatnot. But Gamma 2 sees that, and yeah, and then they switch sides. So then Carmine gets, beat up by Pan. Magenta escapes. He's going to the basement of the compound that they're at, and he tries to activate Cell Max, and Dr. Hideo again doesn't want Cell turned on, and also now realizes that they're evil. So they get into a little skirmish, and Magenta shoots Dr. Hideo. If you didn't know this fact at the beginning, in the movie, Dr. Hideo says that his skin can now take can take a lot of damage. Like he has modified his skin so that he can take a lot of damage. But I was kind of surprised just by this because he falls down like seemingly dead, and then Magenta double taps him. I wasn't really expecting them to actually. I mean, it's what I would expect any villain to do. Make sure that your adversary is dead. Like he double taps him. Really sort of dark with that. But
Magenta dies anyway.
Yeah, Magenta dies because Dr. Hideo has a little android bee with a poison stinger, and he kills him. But before Magenta dies, he does hit the button and activates Cell. And then Cell gets brought about, and he just starts just wrecking the place. And
yeah, because when he comes out before he even comes out, Bulma is smart as always. She does bring the reinforcements because she's like, if I can't get my husband and Goku here, we're gonna need some help. So she gets on her capsule thing. She's bringing Android 18, Krillin, and then
Goten and Trunks.
You see Goten and Trunks, and you get an explanation because Piccolo was like, "Is that Goten and Trunks?" And like, Pan's like, "That's Goten, that's Trunks." He's like,
Boo is sleeping.
17 wasn't even mentioned. Like, okay. But they're like, and then Gohan explained, he's like, yeah, we Saiyans, we say like, super little for a long period of time.
Yeah,
Because
so
obviously, Dragon Ball Super, they were teenagers.
yes, we've always made fun of Goten and Trunks never growing up. They actually do mention it here finally because they show them as teenagers now, and Gohan makes the mark that um, that Saiyans stay young and then they hit growth spurts out of nowhere, right? And it makes sense because Gohan was little for a long time,
Mhm.
and when he went into the hyperbolic time chamber with Goku to train against Cell the first time, then he came out as a teenager. So they finally fixed it and they gave an explanation to it. It was just a one line thing. And, going back to the review of the Granola arc and how it should have ended, and they should have had some dialogue there. They did it here, and I think it does just great wonders just for that one sentence. So,
So then Cell Max bursts out. You have everyone's like, what the hell is this? 18's like, they made another Cell. So then it's all hands on deck who's there. Everyone, Krillin's like, oh, I'm going to stay back and protect Bulma and Pan. And then Piccolo's charging in. Gohan charges in. Goten and Trunks charge in. 18 charges in.
we
You have
get
everyone go, and Gamma 1 and 2 charge in. So it's everyone versus Cell.
Yep, everyone versus Cell, and Cell or the Gammas tell the fighters the weakness of Cell, and
Because Dr.
that's
Hito wanted to have a weakness in him.
yep, and that is basically just they just need to break his head.
The same weakness as Anilaza from
Yep.
Tournament of Power.
Yep, same thing. Just power source in the head. Just got to damage it and break it. Cool. And we get to the point where they're fighting and they're not getting the head and whatnot. And Gamma 2 sacrifices himself.
We do have a death in this movie.
Yeah, we do have a death in this movie of a good guy. I would say a good guy. So I mean, but he charges down and he breaks the forearm of Cell, and I don't remember Cell recovering that arm.
No, this cell does not
Yeah.
have regenerative abilities.
Right.
I
They
feel
learned.
like Dr. Hito took that out too.
Yep. So when they did all that damage, he was not coming back. So just a little bit different. So Gamma 2 sacrifices himself, and as he's about to, so his body drops down to the ground, and Cell Max is about to stomp him and just completely get rid of it. And Piccolo, understanding that Gamma 2 just sacrificed himself to try to give them an upper hand, prevents that stomp. Right?
Goes back into Orange Piccolo.
Yep, goes back into Orange Piccolo and prevents a stomp. And then Krillin goes underneath and helps a little bit. And then I like this part. Krillin tells Piccolo, hey, why don't you go to your big Namekian form that you did against Goku back during the days of Dragon Ball at the World Martial Arts Tournament? And Piccolo's like, I totally forgot I can do that. And he goes big mode. Cell Max is huge, bigger than like buildings in terms of like height comparison, if you haven't seen. So Piccolo is now the size of Cell Max, right? And they're fighting, and Piccolo makes the remark that it's really, that technique is a bluff. It is not, he doesn't get a power boost. He is the exact same power level as he was. He's just big.
Yeah.
But I mean,
so before you even get to that too, so we talked about Piccolo was really trying to prepare for this stuff. That he went to Corn to get sensu beans. There was only 2 left, which I'm sorry, man. You live on a planet where when Goku was talking about how he wanted to stay dead because everyone comes after him, you have a planet where Goku lives at. How do you not have sensu beans just readily available?
Honestly, it has to be because of Yajirobe. Because back in the day of Dragon Ball, like when Goku was there training with Korin, that guy had baskets, tons of baskets full of senzu beans. Like he had a stockpile. He could have solved all the world hunger on Earth for all of it. And now he has just 2 left.
Yep, and he gives them to Piccolo. Before this final fight happens, Gohan drops one of them, which makes no sense because Piccolo literally asks him, he's like, so when you're Super Saiyan, does your eyesight just magically go back to like
good
20/20 vision? Because like if you're having trouble catching the sensu bean, why don't you just go Super Saiyan really quick, catch it, eat it, be done? But for that sort, because there's also a part in this thing where Goten and Trunks do fusion, and they're fat Gotenks, and fat Gotenks is not completely useless. They actually ping ponged him around, and he actually was the first one to make cracks in Cell's little
Like
head
head,
thing.
yep.
So he
And
was not completely. He was actually, which is the first time we've seen like,
an actual usefulness out of a fat fusion.
yeah, because usually we wait the third. They weren't gonna have enough
You know,
time.
they wait the 30 minutes or whatnot, or like during the Janempa movie, I think what they were doing was before Pycon came around, you know, he was, you know, Gogeta was just getting, you know, kicked around or whatnot. But I feel like if I remember that movie right, Gogeta was he was using his farts to get away from Janempa. He was being silly and whatnot, and it was just awkward. But this movie, they
So he
actually made
contributes.
it.
So like when Piccolo's saying that stuff to Gohan, he gives Gohan the last Senzu bean since he's right next to him because Gohan isn't Super Saiyan 4. He's like, hey man, it's do or die. Gohan takes the Senzu bean, goes back to Ultimate Gohan, and they're all fighting. Like, and he's telling Gohan to charge up, get the final blow, blast him. Piccolo's fighting. Piccolo's getting his ass whooped. He really is. 18
Loses an arm.
Yeah, he loses his arm. 18's back in there. Gotenks is back in there. Gamma 1. Krillin goes in there. And Krillin's Destructo Disc. Protecting 18. So you love to see that. Krillin being useful. He talked to Piccolo and then helping 18. Everyone's getting stopped. And then you have the scene where like Cell throws him in the air and basically catches him like Goku caught Raccoon on Namek.
Hmm.
And then then the moment happens. You have the same red line that
Yep.
happened to Super Saiyan Gohan when he saw 16's head get stomped. So you have the same, not the same, but
It's a copy and paste.
it's a copy.
This is a more of a copy and paste than what they did in the manga.
Yeah.
Like this, like yeah, the red line. He snaps. He transforms into Gohan Beast mode,
Which is his.
and even whenever he's powering up, it's the same stance of which Gohan takes. You know, he
when he was
throws
Super
his
Saiyan
arms
2.
down to the side. His head looks up. He starts screaming, and then, I mean, it's the same angle too. It's literally, it's some people say, you know, it's a homage to what
Oh.
made Gohan amazing.
Oh yeah. He even says, I remember Team Gohan saying that to Cell when the first fight is like, is that all you've got? And when Cell Max went to go punch Gohan, Gohan didn't move. He was just like, is that all
Yep.
you've got? And I was also thinking, because we have to call it back to this, when Goku fought Gohan for the Tournament of Power, because we're calling it back just like with Frieza and Vegeta in our last thing, Gohan said, I'm gonna reach a form that no Saiyan has reached before. That's my goal. I'm trying to reach a new ultimate form.
Yeah.
So I'm starting to think of like, because we've obviously, you had Super Saiyan God, then Super Saiyan Blue, and then if you do manga, perfected Super Saiyan Blue, then your different trees. I think this beast mode is a different tree of the ultimate forms.
Yeah.
So like I would think this is like Ultimate Gohan 2.
Do you think that this is a Saiyan transformation, or is there any sort of Earth like genetics to it?
I
You
think
know,
it's
like
an Earth genetic. I think it's the combination.
like, do you think Goku and Vegeta could ever get this?
No. I think it's just, yeah, I think it's like, because Gohan he was in that unlocked potential state. I think this is the next step of that.
Gotcha.
That's what and I also think it makes a little homage to it because the Supreme Time had white hair.
No.
So like he had white hair, and then the Sparks is like, my eyes, I see it almost as like Ultimate Gohan 2.
Yeah.
Because that's literally what this was. It was, like you said, it was copy and paste of the Gohan becoming Super Saiyan 2, and then he's there powering up a special beam cannon, which we didn't know he knew.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then we will shout out the wrestling expert's wife, Hannah, for definitely making sure we talked about this, about how Piccolo was holding on to Cell that Gohan could do a special beam cannon, just like Goku was holding on to Raditz back in the very beginning of how Dragon Ball Z started, so that Piccolo could do the special beam cannon for the win.
Yep. And now Gohan shoots it at, you know, shoots it at Cell's head, hits him, kills him.
Cell is making a mega ball of all mega balls.
Yep. And Piccolo survives, you know, but Goku didn't survive when Piccolo did because Piccolo was reckless. Also, at the time, Piccolo still did not like Goku. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yep. So, I guess, he didn't care. He was like, I just need to kill Raditz at this point. And if
Mhm.
Goku's collateral, oh well. But, like, Gohan obviously is trying to aim a little more on the point there. And then that's that. The fight ends, and they're all chit chatting, and Gamma and Dr. Hideo get a job working with Bulma at Capsule Corp, and Pan starts her training the next day to.
And Pan can fly. That was
Yep.
another subplot
Yeah,
of this movie.
yeah. Pan learns to fly due to some destructive stuff with Cell Max, but
So this fight, which we were talking about, basically a homage to Cell, because I think the biggest thing about this fight is that it's been a very, very long time that minor characters got involved in fights like this.
and had meaningful actions.
Each one.
Yep, each one. So, like Krillin.
Mhm.
So, let alone Krillin, like, he arrived, he was scared to fight. I mean, Krillin's weak in terms of how these other fighters are, and, he saved Bulma from the destruction, and then that was when Pan learned to fly, so regardless. But Krillin jumps in, he throws a destructo disc at the face of Cell Max, and it actually doesn't hurt, but it affects him.
He's the one who tells Piccolo to.
He tells Piccolo to get big again.
He's the one who helps too. I think he's.
They do a solar flare. Yep, he's doing everything he can to make him distracted and whatnot. And it's fine. 18 was disappointing because I was hoping to have more of a reaction to the Red Ribbon Army and seeing a Cell in front of her. Like, I thought she would at least have some, I don't know, PTSD from when Cell absorbed her. And but no, she was they brought back Cell? All right, let's just go fight them.
I think she was past that because right after Cell Man, Boo turned her to chocolate. Like, I
don't know. I'd rather be chocolate than absorbed.
I don't know.
Through the ass tail.
Yeah, that's true. But she's gone through it. Like, it's hard because it's like I just fought in a tournament that if we lost, our universe was going to be extinct. I don't know if my PTSD from Cell is going to be any worse than the Tournament of Power.
Yeah.
And she's a mom, so I don't know if she really gives a shit anymore. So
she put on a good fight. But
Goten and Trunks were blasting away.
Yep.
It shows how out of practice they were because of the fusion. Even Piccolo looked back on the.
Did Krillin protect 18? Did he do something to save her?
Yeah, because she's like, "Thank you."
Mm-hmm. That's another paying a homage. When Krillin was trying to protect 18 from Cell, and he did not succeed. Mm-hmm. This time he did. This time he did.
Goten and Trunks were there fighting. Don't know why they didn't turn. I kind of do, maybe for marketing. I don't know why they didn't turn Super Saiyan. They were blasting like Cell Max with Gohan while he was a Super Saiyan, but I think that was more to highlight Gohan because Gohan is the only.
Wait, Saiyan when were they turning Super Saiyan?
No, that they didn't. That they didn't turn Super Saiyan.
As Gotenks or individually?
Individually. They didn't turn Super Saiyan during this fight. But I think the reason for that is the same reason that we said Goku and Vegeta couldn't transform. This movie only wanted Gohan to be the only Saiyan who transformed in any way. Mm-hmm. Because it would make no sense for Goten and Trunks to not go Super Saiyan.
Yep.
So, but I really liked the final fight just because everyone was involved. There was consequence, like.
Yeah, Gamma 2 died.
A villain died. Like two.
Finally,
yeah. So
we didn't get it in the moral arc. Villains died. Bad guys died. Mm-hmm. No good guys died.
Well, Mira should have stayed dead. He should have died.
Yep.
That's a whole other thing too. So then this is a happy ending. But Piccolo's like, dude, I told you so. Like,
yep.
And he's like, yeah.
And then Gohan, and then Piccolo asks, "How did you learn the special beam cannon?" That was pretty good. And Gohan secretly. Or admits that secretly he has been practicing special beam cannon, which I'm gonna make a quick note on this. I don't think because I talked about this on the podcast yesterday. These characters do stuff when they're not being shown in front. They are learning stuff. So like when Frieza learned how to be Black Frieza, he did that off screen. when Gohan learns a move, he did that off screen. If people think that Jiren is not doing the damn thing right now to get stronger, then we are just all ignorant. Anyways,
So
like,
you have the happy ending. This movie does have a post credit scene with Goku and Vegeta finally finishing their fight, and Vegeta does win. Goku's the first to go down, and then you see like Beerus is already back asleep. Chile is annoyed by this. Broly and the other guy who was part of their crew, they're crying because of how great the fight was, and Whis is like,
and we never saw it.
well, we saw the beginnings, which
Well,
I will say,
wait.
like I told you, I didn't think that fight was going to be that good. That no blast, no like that was a really good fight.
Well, it's just funny that, because Broly was sitting there. We saw that beginning fight, and Broly was still looking left and right and following it. And then next time we see it, we don't see that second half of that fight, and Broly's crying because how amazing it was. It's almost a jab at us, like.
Oh, yeah.
But oh well. But yeah, Vegeta finally gets the upper hand, and he wins because apparently his meditation technique that he's trying to mimic from Jiren gave him enough of a difference to beat Goku. Because even Beerus mentions that Vegeta has a different like way of fighting, even ever so slightly, and that is apparently what helped push him over. But yeah, we got a little post-credit scene there, and
Whis gets the staff. He's like, "Oh, this has been going off." And then Bulma picks it up. He's like, "Yeah, we could have used you a couple hours ago."
Yep.
And then Whis is like, "Oh, you have any food?" He's like, "Nope, it's gone. It was a couple hours ago." And Whis is like, "Man,
I gotta figure out what happened."
yeah, gotta figure out what happened." Movie ends. Overall, good movie. To just go now into the fun stuff because now we can finally talk about it. That's what the authors and creators were saying. They were saying Orange Piccolo is now on the same level as Goku and company. And I had this down too because you were already talking about it. Like Piccolo, when he became Super Namekian Piccolo after fusing with Kami, he was stronger than pre-hyperbolic time chamber Super Saiyans. He was the strongest Z fighter.
Mm-hmm.
And then he really doesn't get powered up at all.
He gets left in the dust.
He gets it. Deborah spits on him. He gets turned to stone. The lowest of low point is when he gets eliminated by that freaking invisible hands in the tournament of power. And now you say Orange Piccolo is Goku and Vegeta level. Like, what does that mean? Like, we always just throw it now to their Super Saiyan Blue level. But even in theory, even though Super Saiyan Blue is not lived up what it's supposed to be, it's literally supposed to be a Super Saiyan who has full control of God powers.
Yep.
And now we're just throwing everyone's just in that level now.
Like, I don't have a problem with Orange Piccolo being like a Super Saiyan Blue level, like after he's trained with it.
Mhm.
Like and this is going to be the issue that people want to hear about when we start talking about Gohan, is that we have, and I say we as the entire community, we all want Piccolo and Gohan to be on par, because we don't just want Goku and Vegeta just being the entire show all the time. And that's what this movie has ventured out, and we learn that you can make a decent story with these two characters. You just have to make them strong enough so that it's not like they can just get saved by the cop out of Goku and Vegeta. But like, if they were like, Orange Piccolo is Super Saiyan God, slightly below Super Saiyan Blue.
I mean, watch Mojo. He's already stronger than Hit Kefla.
Yeah. Yep. He's already stronger than Hit according to Watch Mojo. They released a top 20 strongest characters in
right after the chapter.
Right after chapter 87 came out. So and they showed Black Frieza. So like
Black Frieza was the strongest mortal.
Yep. And so like I'm fine with that. I just wanted to see now the progression of that. So I wanted to see Piccolo training to make Orange Piccolo super strong. Like, a full powered Super Saiyan, that kind of level. So I'm fine with that, but I just don't like handing people these titles of the strongest. Like,
we just finished almost a 2-year arc about that.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
But the biggest thing now was...
But they cheated. Yeah, they cheated by a wish. This is cheating by plot armor.
And that used a wish. But the biggest
They
one is
did.
obviously
They did wish.
the biggest one is Gohan. I mean, Piccolo gave this thing like Gohan. You have the potential to be the strongest person on the planet.
We all know that. We do
we've
agree with
known
that.
for
That
a
is, we are not
long
disputing that.
we've known that for a long time. Even the beginning of Super, when Gohan was a scholar, they were just like for the Universe 6 and 7 fight. They're like Vegeta's like, why don't you bring Gohan? Gohan has the most potential out of all of us.
Yep.
Right now, and Goku's like, oh, no, he's studying. Like this has been said since he was like 5, and like Gohan said when he fought Goku, he's gonna find a form that no one else has seen. I don't have a problem with Beast Gohan. I don't like the name. I kind of like Final Gohan better because you go from Ultimate to Final. That's basically for me like the Digimon transformations. Like you have Ultimate form and then you have Mega level. That's how I see it. My only thing is the way that he got it is he saw Piccolo getting stomped. I think it would have been significantly better if he would have unlocked this form in the Tournament of Power, because obviously there was more stakes. Because if he was losing, like let's say to Dispo, and he's like, if I lose, Pan's getting erased, my wife's getting erased, my mom's getting erased, my brother, everyone. If he would have unlocked it there, because he's the only Saiyan in the Tournament of Power who doesn't get a new form or a fusion.
Yep.
Because Kaba goes from Super Saiyan 1 to Super Saiyan 2 in the Tournament of Power. Goku, we already know. UI, MUI, Vegeta, Blue Evolution. KO starts to control her stuff, and we get Kefla. Gohan's the only person who just stays in Ultimate.
And the thing is that during the Tournament of Power, like you can't say that Gohan should not have done this transformation because he had Goku and Vegeta, as the cop outs. Those two were
fighting for their lives against Jiren.
They were fighting for their lives against Jiren. Like as far as I'm concerned, they weren't in it. Like in Gohan's world, he should have like been thinking, I got no one. I'm the only one in this ring right now. I got to get rid of these other people, and they're strong as shit because my dad and Vegeta are dealing with a guy who's I got to help them. Like they can't help me. I have to help them. Yeah. And then he should have transformed at that time because he even had a little training before then. So he was way more prepared for the Tournament of Power than what he was for the Red Ribbon Army.
So my callback would have been, so Gohan goes Beast Mode in the Tournament of Power, even though the Cell Games really wasn't a tournament. It was a tournament. This movie kind of could have like mimicked a little bit, and then I would have made it like BoJack, where Gohan goes Beast Mode at the end of the movie to save them, just like Gohan went Super Saiyan 2 at the end of the movie to save them against BoJack, which also in the BoJack movie, everyone was fighting. Like, I was going to make it a callback like that if that was me writing, because I was like, all right, I've seen Beast Mode in the Tournament of Power, super strong. Now he's coming back again to save the day. There you go. Instead of him unlocking it after seeing, I understand Piccolo is his best friend, all that, surrogate dad, yada yada. But I really feel like the motivation of, if he was this motivated to get his daughter from being kidnapped, he should have had a lot more motivation thinking like, damn, my daughter's going to get erased if we don't win.
Mm-hmm. And everybody.
Yeah, everybody.
Like the entire universe, your family, your friends, their families, their friends, and everybody. The stakes were extremely way more higher and way more stressful than what this was. But
yeah, and obviously the power jump is ridiculous because they went from not doing Cell Max. I think Gohan, he basically blasted him. So if I were to ask you, because I've actually listened to some pretty top YouTubers all in a group answer this question. Who would you have won in a fight? The Super Saiyan Blue Gogeta from the Broly movie, so that one, versus Beast Gohan.
I have to say Gogeta. Like in my logic, like a fusion Super Saiyan Blue from the movie that just came prior to it versus Gohan? Beast Gohan? Like that's just how I think of it. Now here, I'll try to connect dots so that people, like, if Unreal, Geekdom, whomever, if they ever would listen to this, here's how I would say it. So, Gogeta is stronger than Broly.
Yes.
In this movie, it is implied, in Superhero, it is implied that Broly is still stronger than Goku and Vegeta.
but they do not know what just happened to Gohan.
They do not.
They do not.
At the end of this movie, though, they then say, Piccolo says, they do not know if they would have won if Goku and Vegeta were there.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he didn't say that they would not have won. He said that he does not know if they would have won.
Mm-hmm.
So at least Goku and Vegeta then are, in the same realm as, where Cell Max is. Whatnot. So I am then having to compare Gohan to Broly. Just by the words that were spoken, I have to put them in the same idea frame there.
Well,
then I'm saying that
Toro said that if Cell Max would have got to like perfect body Cell Max, he'd be a lot stronger than Broly. So I don't know where you put this Cell Max compared to Broly.
So I am putting, just because of that comparison with Gohan and Broly, I am putting a fusion of Gogeta ahead of that.
Okay.
Because a fusion is an exponential growth in power. It's not addition. We're not adding two powers. We are raising this multiplying this a ton.
Mm-hmm.
That's my thought. I assume that they probably said Gohan.
Yeah, I believe there was talk for Gohan winning, which just because they were just like, I forget, it was actually a full long video, but
because
it's the thing you talked about yesterday. If you're in the movie after, you're automatically stronger than the last movie.
Yeah, it's just if every answer can be, or every question can be answered just by asking who came last.
Mm-hmm.
It really is. So Gohan is stronger than everyone. He's stronger than gods of destruction. It's like I just don't want to think like that. Like, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Gohan is the strongest, and Goku's a bitch, Vegeta's a bitch, Beerus is a bitch, and Broly's a bitch. Everyone's a bitch except for Gohan now. Black Frieza is scrub change. He had less than 24 hours of being sweet in terms of this movie coming out in America. And I just don't like thinking like that. That's the problem that this franchise has always had, is just that the newest villain or the newest protagonist just has to be significantly stronger than the previous one. And I just don't want to think like that. I hope that I can at least give people insight into the logic of like why this is like silly.
Gohan's crazy because if you really think about it, like Gohan was a child, and like when he got a full year of training with his father, he was able to catch up and pass his dad. And his dad is obviously a lot older than Gohan because he's his dad. And he was able to catch up and be significantly stronger than his dad in 1 year of just like legit no chi down his neck, full training. He was able to go from walking in there, not being able to be Super Saiyan to
on the cusp of Super Saiyan 2.
Yeah.
And
his Super Saiyan was stronger than his dad.
Yep.
Because when he was fighting, like when his dad was fighting Cell, he was like, "Oh, you're not going all out." And he's like, "I know Cell. I know I am. Cell probably isn't, but you're basing. You think we're not going all out because you're basing your power to mine, right?" And everyone just stared at him. He's like, "Yeah," and everyone's like,
I was fine with that. 1 year of training is fine. Like, just not 4 hours of no training just to get to the strongest in the universe, whatnot. So I got a question. Switching slight topics here.
Yeah, so I'm just reading thing like both Goku and Gohan admitted that Gohan's potential exceeds either of theirs, even after both of them got Super Saiyan Blue. Yep. But he just doesn't train. It's the meme of the thing.
Yep. So these movies have not had completely of the 4 movies. 3 of them have not really had like original villains. Like these have been sort of copy and pasted from previous villains. So Beerus was a brand new antagonist. Cool, sweet. It's great. That's how we get back. We get Dragon Ball back. going again. Then we had Frieza. Frieza was a movie. Okay, so we enjoy having Frieza back, and again, they're doing these well. But like we have Frieza, and then we have Broly, and then we have the Red Ribbon Army back. Like this next movie that comes out, it can't be.
Well, I already told you I think it's gonna be. I think it's gonna be cooler.
I don't know how they can implement cooler.
Well, we just got Cell Max, man.
Well, that wasn't Cell.
But it was.
But it was Cell. It was based off Cell. It looked exactly like Cell.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if they want to bring cooler, I don't know how you can ignore. Like, I don't know how you can incorporate cooler unless he came from like a different universe, like a different timeline. But regardless, I am gonna say that the next movie though has to be something original. Well, what are they going to do? Bring back Majin Buu? Are we going to bring back Bobbity? We're going to bring Bibbidi?
Or Bobbity had
Yeah.
Bobbity had
Like
a good.
Bobbity, Bibbidi, yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna stick with
Majin
Cooler.
Buu Boo?
I'm gonna stick with Cooler because people want him canon. I know, like alternate universe could work, but I
mean,
think, I think it's gonna be Cooler.
I mean, how about the cooler from Trunks' timeline? Like, come over.
Or he's in a movie.
Yep.
Trunks.
And it's just, the next movie, I just wanted a brand new original villain. Like, complete, like, I want like a Beerus thing. Like, I want to see somebody completely new. But now with this, here's my next question though. How much, like, this movie talked about the past a lot.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it brought up moments of Dragon Ball. It brought up moments of Z.
Mm-hmm.
It brought up moments of Super. And I loved it. Especially for the people who have not, they didn't grow up with Z like us. So, the younger audience, they might not have watched Dragon Ball. They might not have watched Z unless they play the video games. They would know the story if they played the video games, right? Xenoverse 2 and all DLC 47.
Oh, yeah. If you played any of the Budokais, you know the story.
But how much of everything was just too much of copying? Like,
oh, there's a lot of homage. Like, I get it because like when you're doing these movies, you're maybe thinking the people who haven't seen it and just want to come into it, or the people who just watched Super and come into it. So, I
mean, just scenes were just identical.
Yeah.
Or they were just ideas. So I didn't have a like. Let's take like what has happened in the past. So they brought up, they brought up Piccolo getting big. They brought up, or they showed Gohan's transformation was almost a copy of whenever he went Super Saiyan 2. Piccolo holding on to Cell, the special beam cannon, the moves in which Krillin used on Cell were exactly what he did against Cell in the past. He threw the destruction disc and he threw it at Cell's head. This time, though, it kind of caught Cell Max off guard. In Z, though, Cell was not phased at all whenever he went perfect. And then Krillin used Solar Flare again on Cell whenever he used it on Imperfect Cell. And I'm trying to think of some other things at the top of my head here. Trying to think of stuff with the Red Ribbon Army, but like how much is lazy? Like, did you think it was lazy? I don't
think it's the same. I mean,
I don't think it was lazy, but I'm just like,
it was funny too because I don't want to say lazy. I would call the Broly movie freeze and that word more lazy than this. The first 30 minutes was a recount of the history of Bardock.
Yeah.
Like, I've already seen that movie, literally.
Well, they retconned it so much.
Yeah, so they retconned that in the Broly movie, and that was the first 30 minutes of the movie. Then you got to the action, but I hear you. I think just to close that out, we just need something like more different, original, because besides Beerus, all the villains have been reused or brought into canon. I mean,
Yep.
Broly movie was the bringing Broly to canon and making Fusion Reborn a canon movie-ish. Like, that's literally the Fusion Reborn. But we are way past usual time.
Let me ask the one last
Oh,
question.
go ahead.
Which movie do you like more? Actually, I'm going to open it up just slightly more. Which super movie is your favorite one?
Broly's mildly my favorite, more for the fact that they did not punk out Vegeta, and we actually got to see Super Saiyan God Vegeta.
Yeah.
So that was really cool. Battle of Gods, maybe just because I saw it when it came out. I'm just like, all right, this is interesting. We just have this random dude who's been super strong all this time, just showing up, and we get a new transformation. Resurrection, I would put Broly 1, this movie 2, Battle of Gods 3, Resurrection F4.
Yeah. That's my exact list.
Because I was actually kind of mad because during the promo for Resurrection, after like the most evil wish of all time is happening, and back then I'm like, we're bringing back Frieza. What the fuck is Frieza going to do?
Yep, against a Super Saiyan God
when he couldn't beat up
a Super Saiyan.
Yeah.
Yep. So, yeah, it was just, the Broly
And I
movie.
actually liked the movie. I liked the music when they were fighting Cell Max.
Yeah.
I actually like that.
Oh, music was very good. Yeah. Very good. Yeah, I think I just enjoyed. Like, don't get me wrong, I enjoy watching the story with Piccolo advancing and Gohan advancing. I like the end goal. I don't like the journey. I wish it was training, but regardless, I mean, still a great film. It was enjoyable, and I like where the franchise might go. But like in terms of the movies, I like Broly. I like another Saiyan, and it was really sweet seeing Vegeta go Super Saiyan God. We got a fusion out of it. We made Gogeta canon.
Yeah, and the first time that Vegeta isn't the one who's getting jobbed in the fight, it was Goku who took a bigger ass whooping from Broly than Vegeta did.
Yeah, Vegeta didn't because Goku interrupted that fight and started fighting on his own or whatnot. And it's yeah.
So, but no, that's really. And then just a quick thing. Currently, right now, time of recording, Dragon Ball Super Super Hero is still 92% on, if you care about this stuff, Rotten Tomatoes, and then a 94% audience score. And then currently, Box Mojo, right now, worldwide, 28,839,195, 10 million domestic, 18 million international as of right now. And it's probably going to be the number one movie in the.
Wait, those numbers you just said, worldwide, you said 28.
Yep, 28.
And domestically, it's at 10 million. So 10 million, almost half, 40% of the box office is.
Well, on here, 37.3.
Yep, 37. What is it?
37.
Oh, it gives you I need my glasses. So 37%, almost 40%.
Is domestic here.
Is it here in the States?
As it just came out on Thursday. Not a Thursday release, but yeah, from Thursday, we'll see how much it is.
Like, with all due respect to Japan, why are they, come on, people.
Well, we did talk about the promotion was terrible. It was bad. They weren't promoting
it should not have been. I don't think it was bad in Japan, was it?
Oh. Well,
I mean, maybe here and everywhere else, they didn't do a damn thing.
It was bad.
They had no promotion, and we're doing. I would think that we would be doing better than Japan if we owned 40% of the box office.
Yeah, we're gonna see how much more we get. Because for me, I mean, obviously, like the bootleg movies were all out, and all. I was like, this is a movie you got to watch on the legit big screen. Because I don't think those bootlegs will do it justice.
If America is pouring more money into Dragon Ball, then why aren't we getting the stuff first?
That's gonna be a question for Toei.
I don't want to. I've asked them questions. I've asked them on Twitter many times. I've also called them out for, taking down some of my favorite, YouTube people. Totally not Mark. They want to wring his neck, and they can wring themselves. But
so that's really it for this. I know September there's no manga chapter, and there's already been a whole bunch of ideas thrown at Mitch. Now I'm also thinking too. Watch Mojo did their list. Maybe we need to do our list
Well,
of who we
if the
think
manga isn't coming back till, let's say, December, because they said it's coming back 2022
allegedly.
Allegedly, I mean, maybe they'll come back with the anime first. Who knows? But if they don't come back with anything in December, we need to figure out something then for September, October, and November. So I mean,
There's a lot of ideas being thrown.
So yeah, tune in for that, and I mean, we'll see how it goes. Like, 1 month, like we were talking about, like 1 month we would do an episode, just about like the previous arcs in Super and what our original ideas were for that. Like what were our predictions? Because I'll be honest with you, I had a lot of predictions. I thought they were good. They never turned out to which they were, but. Would people think that my ideas were better than what they did? Do you think that I'm hot garbage and that I should just stick to reviews and not content creation? It's whatever, Another one, this one's actually been brought up more by my friends, and it might be a Dragon Ball podcast that actually has a few more people involved in it, and that is like a review of like Dragon Ball Abridged, which Martin here has actually not watched.
No.
Has not watched all 60 odd some episodes and all the movies whenever Team 4-Star was putting on glorious abridged content. And because I mean it's funny, if I were you, if you had not watched Dragon Ball Abridged, you have plenty of time now with no manga coming out. You can go, shout out Team 4-Star, but also come over to the L7C's YouTube page too. But go and watch them. They have like 60 episodes spanning all the way from the moment in which Raditz arrives all the way up until end of the Cell saga. So it's comedy, it's a parody, it's awesome. But the thing that we want to review on that is sometimes they do things better than what the manga and the anime did. But I mean, whenever you do something 20 or 30 years after it came out, you can critique stuff better and you can make corrections and all that stuff. So that's another topic that we were want to discuss, but like might have our WWE expert Jacob and his wife Hannah on there, might have our anime expert Cedric on there, because both of them, all three of them, have watched Abridged, so I might have company, and you can listen to someone else who has, just a little bit as much knowledge. So that's that. And then I feel like there was one other thing that we were discussing, but
there's a lot. Like our people fighting now. Like if
our top 20.
Yeah, so
Gotcha.
and obviously watch Mojo. They had like the gods and all that. If we take those people out and like, because some of the stuff, if you've watched Mojo's one yet, and I'll put the link in the description box, but they had like Tefla on there, but they didn't have Vegeta or Gogeta or Vegito. That makes no sense.
Yeah,
but you had Murzomasu. But okay.
I think they were rushed, but oh well.
Yeah, because
you put out that content. You just got to take your loss, but like.
Yeah, because they put it out 6 minutes after the chapter and the movie was out in America, but. No, we enjoyed this movie. We were finally happy that we could talk about it since we've been holding this movie in for 2 months now. So we greatly appreciate that. And we greatly appreciate you being a part of the L7C Dragon Ball weekend. Definitely go check out Dragon Ball Super Super Hero. It's a great experience on the big screen, great visuals, minor characters being involved, and Piccolo being the standouts. And if they make more money, it makes them inclined to make more content for us. So with that being said, thank you everyone for listening to the L7C podcast. Make sure you go check out the movie in theaters now, and y'all take care.
Like, comment, and subscribe.